Welcome to the Health Babes podcast with Doctors Becky Campbell and Crystal Home, where we talk everything health. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Health Babes podcast. We have Samantha Gladish, who is a registered holistic nutritionist, weight loss coach, hormone fixer-upper, and author of the Amazon bestseller, The 30-Day Hormone Solution. She is also host of one of Canada's top-rated podcasts, Healthy Hormones for Women. She is the founder of holisticwellness.canada, a website dedicated to helping women lose weight and balance their hormones with delicious food. Thanks a million for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And Samantha's also one of my friends. We've been Instagram friends for years.
So we have.
Yes. And I've actually been on her podcast. She has a very good podcast. You guys have to check that out.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
So let's talk, which is an awesome topic. You know, I've talked about this a lot and our audience loves this topic. So let's talk about the thyroid and specifically Hashimoto's. So can you kind of tell us your story? Like, how were you diagnosed with Hashimoto's? Which, for those of you that don't know what Hashimoto's is, it's the autoimmune disease that causes hypothyroidism. So that would be too little thyroid hormone in the body. So anyway, take us away.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Hashimoto's diagnosis was back in 2017. And I will never forget actually being at the gym, and I was lifting weights, and I went to go pick up these weights, and I had this it was almost this weird arthritic pain in my hands, and I couldn't actually really grip the weights. And of course, leading up to this, I was also experiencing a lot of exhaustion. My sleep was totally off. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was gaining weight. I had such severe brain fog. And I mean, I am an entrepreneur, and as I'm sure you can both relate, just the busyness of running an online business and clients and, all the things that you're trying to juggle. So of course, there's a stress aspect to that. And I just remember being in the gym and lifting those weights. And so I had a whole bunch of these symptoms showing up, but it was in that specific moment when I gripped those weights, I was like, I know what this is. This is autoimmune Hashimoto's. I just had that instinct. I just knew it. And so I went to go book in a appointment with my naturopath, and I ran some blood work. And of course, I ran the full thyroid panel, which we can always chat about. And my antibodies came back. They were way over 600 or something like that. My anti-TPO and my anti-TG. And I was like, okay, well, this confirms a lot. And so that really began my journey of just diving in. And it's, as I'm sure you've spoken about so many times on the podcast, it's not just about addressing thyroid health specifically, but all the other factors that could really play a role in autoimmune, our gut being one, detoxification, stress, so many different things. So I was already living this amazing, healthy, vibrant life. And then of course, here comes all these symptoms. And it was just this next level really of opportunity for me to dive into more deeper healing and deeper growth. So I'm thankful for it all. And I've come a long way now since 2017. And I'm so much more conscious of my triggers that really can bring up some of those symptoms. So that's kind of the story in a nutshell.
I think that's a good thing to say is being aware of your triggers, because like you talked about, there are so many drivers for thyroid issues. And if you can start to, which is what we do in our practice, we try to figure out what they are, but then making the person aware moving forward of what they are can keep them really in remission with Hashimoto's. So
absolutely. Yeah. I know for me, stress is just a really big one. And as I'm sure it is for so many of us, right? It triggers so many things for so many of us. And it's just, it was a great opportunity for me to learn how to slow down and just really manage my schedule better and just take a lot more time for me. And now I know when I overdo it, well, I know how I'm going to feel, and I'm going to feel exhausted and just burnt out and tired and can't think and all of the things. So it's not worth feeling that way.
It's not. Stress is I truly believe stress is the biggest trigger for every health issue. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And it's not there's not just one we talk about like root causes, but there's not just like one thing that we can pinpoint. It's very multifaceted. It's numerous root causes, and it's just kind of identifying all of them. And that can take time. That can just take a lot of time to work through and really figure that out.
And it can change too.
Yes.
It can definitely change.
So for anybody listening that may think they have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, what are some symptoms that they may be experiencing? You talked about some of the symptoms you saw, but what are some of the common ones that they may think?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot. I feel like if you Google Hashimoto symptoms, you'll just like a whole list of things will come up. And so typically we see things like weight gain, hair loss, brain fog. We can often see some different issues maybe with like the gut in terms of maybe your stools are either too loose or maybe you're experiencing more like sluggishness and constipation, cold hands, cold feet. Those tend to be some of the, I would say, like more common symptoms that I tend to see. So those are often the things where we go to our doctor and we're like, I'm gaining weight. I can't sleep. I have this brain fog. I feel tired all the time. And often the response is, oh, you're just getting older and this is what comes with aging,
Right.
And we just get dismissed.
So ridiculous. Like, give me a break.
No.
That makes me so mad when I hear people say that.
Agreed.
Well, when you got your diagnosis or when you got your lab work and you realized this is what was going on, what did you do with your diet? Like, how did you navigate that?
Yeah. So I had always been like, I never like to put a title on, my diet and what it is that I'm eating.
Right.
Really, it's like a whole foods approach. And I guess if we had to really narrow it down in some shape or form, paleo, really essentially. So, I've been eating like grass-fed meats and wild caught fish and lots of veggies and fruits and all of that, and lots of like different squashes and whatnot. And so I eliminated grains, and I had been gluten-free for quite some time already. And so that was kind of easy for me to already kind of do because I was already gluten-free. Grains, I was eating a bit of rice. I was eating some gluten-free oats. And so at that point I had just kind of stopped and just cut them out altogether. And I did kind of take it a step further and go on the AIP protocol. So the autoimmune paleo protocol, which if anybody has attempted that, it is definitely challenging to follow because there's a lot of food restrictions, right? But there's also a lot of amazing science behind it that it can really work. And ultimately what it's doing is really removing a lot of foods that could be triggers for the gut. And so it was at that point when you're just exhausted and can't sleep and gaining weight, your hair is falling out and you just, you're feeling all the things, you're like, I'll do anything. So I went on the AIP protocol, and it's essentially like the paleo diet, but now you're eliminating things like nuts and seeds. You're even eliminating certain spices that come from like different seeds, like certain plants. So like no pepper, which was something, it was so easy to use salt and pepper all the time, right? In my food. And so I eliminated pepper. There's a whole bunch of other spices as well. And eggs, I had to eliminate eggs as well. And all dairy, I believe, I forget now. I think I had to eliminate dairy. And so it was just a little bit more restrictive. And so I really followed that protocol for about 8 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. And I got really good at making AIP meals and AIP baking and all kinds of things. I got really good at it. And then I slowly reintroduced foods back. So I slowly reintroduced eggs and slowly reintroduce like pepper and things like that. And I started to actually learn like what some of my food triggers were. So for somebody that used to eat eggs like all of the time, it's just such a convenient food. And it's also so nourishing for the brain and everything. But when I reintroduced it back in, I was getting really bloated. So I had to really play around with eggs because the protein in eggs, when based on how you cook it, you might actually digest it better. So the protein changes based on how you cook it. So I had to really play around. Like, could I have poached eggs? Could I do scrambled and then maybe not poached? Or could I do fried eggs? Can I bake with it? So I was just really playing around with eggs. And I also recognized that I just can't eat them every day. And so I gave myself a lot of space and time in between eating eggs. Pepper is actually something I have now cut out since 2017. I just don't include it in my diet because I found that it was being a bit of a trigger for me and also impacting like my sinuses and stuff too. So I just cut that out. But yeah, from a diet perspective, that was really what that looked like.
And I just want to say something, to kind of piggyback that. Whenever people talk about elimination diets and then adding things back, I personally, and I'm sure you believe this too, Samantha, and I know Crystal does, think that yes, you should add some things back. Like, I mean, AIP to me is not sustainable for life for most people,
right.
But there are definitely foods that I don't recommend you try adding back. Like, I do not recommend trying gluten again. Because specifically for the thyroid, it's not a good idea because our body actually will attack our thyroid more when we have gluten in our system. So, because I think people think like, okay, I'm going to eliminate these foods and then I'm going to go back to eating everything I was eating before. I'll be healed. Like, and it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. There's going to be some things you can have back, but overall, you do need to eat whole, clean foods in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Unless, of course, you go to Italy in 2018 and eat everything, which is what I did.
Eat all the scones and all the pasta. And oh my gosh, I would die if I did that though.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like the quality of the food there is also so different.
Oh yeah,
it's so different. And so it's wild because I tested my antibodies about a month before I left for Italy. And then I tested again when I came back and they were significantly lower. Wow. And it's not to necessarily say that within that short amount of time that it was the food that impacted that specifically. But what I really can relate that to is the fact that I was on vacation for 2 weeks. I was like stress-free and exploring and adventure. It was so amazing. I was outside every day. I was in the ocean. Like, of course my antibodies lowered. So it's, I don't want anybody taking the message away, like go to Italy and eat all the food and, neglect your health. But there's, again, so many layers that make up, our health and why we feel the way we feel.
Oh my gosh. I've heard the Italy story 1,000 times.
Me too, in practice.
Yeah. You can go to Italy and eat gluten and be fine. I mean, yes, you are on vacation. That does make a difference.
Yes.
But it is different. Their food is different. It's such higher quality. So yeah.
It is. The wheat isn't hybridized like it is in North America. And so or genetically modified, like all of that. So, that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Let's talk about detox and how important detox is, especially for the thyroid, right? With that T4 to T3 conversion. But let's talk about nutrition and how we can use nutrition to detox.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love talking about this because I feel like there's such a misconception around detox. And I think so many people think like, okay, I'm going to run to the health food store and I'm going to buy a 10-day detox kit. And then I'm going to spend like every day on the bathroom, in the bathroom.
And I'm going to see all these parasites in my poop.
Totally.
Gallstones.
Right. And so there's like such this misconception around what detox really means. And so, really our body's detoxing every single day, right? It's detoxing the secondhand smoke we came in contact with, or environment and car fumes, like all of the things, our food, just metabolic processes and breakdowns that naturally happen in our body. Like our body has to detox and process all of that. So, and detox and process our hormones. So it's happening all day, every single minute. And the best way we can optimize that and support that is with the little things that we do every single day. We have to eat every single day. So why not eat the cleanest, whole foods and make sure we're loading up on enough protein and getting in the healthy fats and getting in the fiber, PFF. That's always what I talk about, protein, fat, and fiber. I mean, that alone is just going to help support our natural detoxification processes. We're going to get all those amazing amino acids from protein, and that's going to help support hormones and neurotransmitters and support our moods. And then we're going to get all the amazing healthy fats that our hormones need to function. And then with fiber, that's going to help support our bowels, and it's going to help bind to excess estrogen and flush that out through the bowels. And then, of course, when we're loading up on fiber, we want to make sure we're hydrating, and we need hydration to detox so that we can actually move things through the system. You know, we don't just detox through our poop specifically, but we detox through, you know, urination and sweating, like all of this matters. And so making sure that we're hydrated, we're eating really clean foods. That is really the simplest way and the simplest term, I guess, in terms of what detox really means. And so, you know, supporting our bodies nutritionally, like, of course, we're going to benefit that in every shape and form. And then outside of that, there's different layers we can add on to this if we kind of want to step it up a notch. So, I mean, exercise is important and really great, but mainly it's not just exercise. This isn't about just, you know, high intensity and like trying to push ourselves. It's really about sweating at the end of the day. It's just getting that sweat in. And so this is why we want to get that movement in. And that movement is also going to help move things internally in the body, and it's going to help assist with bowel movements. And so, you know, exercise is great for sweating, but maybe you have like an infrared sauna that can be really great. I love infrared saunas because they really do help penetrate like deep within the subcutaneous cells. So it's not just like heating your skin externally. It's actually like getting deep within those layers. So that can be really great. And then just incorporating things like herbs and spices like cinnamon and turmeric and clove and garlic and onion. Like I feel like I cook with garlic and onion like pretty much every single day. And they are loaded. Garlic and onion is loaded with sulfur, and sulfur is an amazing compound that helps with, you know, phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. So getting that in, it's going to be really potent. And then turmeric is like so anti-inflammatory, very detox friendly. Different herbs like cilantro and parsley. Like there's just so many things that we can include from day to day that support our natural detoxification abilities.
What are some detox myths? And we kind of hit them a little bit in the beginning, but what else? You know, I know there's a lot of misconception around detox. So what have you seen as some of the biggest myths?
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely like taking these detox kits, like you can't fully detox your body from like head to toe in like 5 days or 7 days.
And then go back to eating crap.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And drinking all the alcohol and things like that. Right. So that is, that's, I'm not against those. I think that they can be valuable and serve a purpose, but in addition to the other things that we're doing, right? So if you've never detoxed before and you go out and buy this like 7 or 10 day kit, but you're not cleaning up your diet or doing anything, well, that could probably backfire on you and you're probably not going to feel very good. So if you're already at a place where you're eating really well, you're hydrating, you have like self-care practices in place, you are moving your body, and now you want to incorporate a kit like that, it might actually benefit you. And it might kind of like just, you know, push the lever a little bit more. And that could be beneficial for you. So yeah, we don't just detox in this like shortened period of time because we're detoxing every day. In terms of other myths, okay, that's a good question. Like, I mean, coffee comes to mind, how we should, I feel like this could be, I could either get people who really love me or like really hate me on this one.
Or maybe they could just accept that you have a thought and not love or hate you.
Right.
I mean, there's an idea.
Shocking. I love that. So coffee is, I'm actually all for coffee. It's just the quality of coffee and it's how much you're drinking. Like if I have a client that comes to me and they're doing all of these things right, but like the coffee is the one crutch and they just need that 1 cup a day because that, you know, and they're going to stay on track with everything else. Well, I'm going to meet them in the middle and say like, have your coffee. Like you're going to be fine in the grand scheme of all the things that you're doing. this isn't really going to impact you the way that you think. Right. So it's just, again, being conscious of like how much we're drinking. And then at the same time, like there's coffee enemas that are used for detoxification and to actually clean out our bowels. And so it can actually be very, very beneficial, but it really does come down to the quality. And then also like, are you loading up your coffee with like all this dairy and all this sugar? Cause then that's, like just organic black coffee. We've gone so far away from that, and we put like all these fancy collagen powders and all these things in there and make it like all, so fancy. And it's like, actually, it's just drinking organic black coffee on its own is actually a really powerful antioxidant. And I do love putting my collagen in my coffee, but still it can actually be beneficial, but it's just not abusing it.
Well, a lot of people don't know. We come across this with our patients. They don't know the problem with coffee is that there's a lot of mold in it. Yes. And there's pesticides in it as well. Yep. Same with tea. You have to get organic, but there's only a few companies who really do a good process. Like Bulletproof, Hue Kitchen, Four Sigmatic. They're all good companies. They actually really do a good job of getting rid of the mold, the pesticides. And then even with Four Sigmatic, they do less caffeine. So you don't have such highs and lows, which coffee can definitely give, like, a slow metabolism.
Yes. And they've like combined it with some amazing medicinal mushrooms as well. Like I don't even drink a full pack of the full Four Sigmatic. I drink half of a pack, and that's probably like 25 grams. Milligrams of caffeine.
It's like less than a cup of green tea.
Yeah. It's about 25 milligrams. So
yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, absolutely. My book baby, as Becky knows, she actually helped me through that process. And it was so much fun to write. And it's really the first half of the book is all about diving deeper into like women's health and hormones. And I talk about gut health and thyroid health and adrenals and PMS and all the kind of fundamentals in the first half. And then the second half is 60 amazing gluten-free, grain-free recipes. Those are all my like recipe babies, tried, true, tested. And they're really the recipes that my husband and I eat all the time. And again, when we think about detoxing and supporting our hormones and supporting our body, it doesn't have to be complicated, and it can be delicious. And that was really what I wanted to show people with the book, is that you can eat all this variety of food and all this amazing food, and it can really support and benefit your health.
Yeah, I have her book, everyone. It's really good. The recipes are great. And they're really easy. I mean, you're not going to spend an hour in the kitchen. They're easy and they're delicious, and it's really good. It's a great book. What's the name of it?
The 30-day Hormone Solution.
Okay. So we'll put that in the show notes. So other than your book, where else can people find you?
Yeah, they can connect with me. I do love hanging out on Instagram. So you can find me there at Holistic Wellness Foodie. And over on our website, we just got a whole website revamp. So I'm like so excited to send everybody to the website because she just looks so pretty. So holisticwellness.ca. You can connect with me there and our team and all of the things that we do there.
And are you doing one-on-ones?
I'm actually not, but my team is. We do have an awesome team of functional nutritionists. We do offer Dutch testing, hair mineral analysis testing, GI map testing. We have a really comprehensive, like our Hormone Solution program. So yeah, you can definitely come on board and work with our team there. I do have some other online programs and stuff that I'm a part of and do group coaching around. So that's really the only way that people can work with me.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed this show. And even though we like Crystal and I have a short attention span. So we do well with the short shows because when I listen to podcasts myself, I like to just kind of, get to the information. So this was great. This was awesome. Really great. So, and we love Samantha. So follow her on Instagram. She has a great Instagram. Get her book. Probably best place to get it right now is Amazon, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And then check out her new beautiful website. And thank you so much for coming on. I was so excited to have you. And thank you everyone for listening. And don't forget to leave a review. It literally takes a minute, and the reviews help other people find what episodes will really help them. So when you leave a review, make sure you mention Samantha's name. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a good day, everyone.